Imagine waking up one morning, blinking in the sunlight, stretching like you've got your whole day ahead of you, only to remember, oh yeah, you're the president of a country at war. That's Volodymyr Zelensky's life. While most of us roll out of bed with the modest goal of not dying today, Zelensky's first thought is more like, how do I stay alive and save my country before breakfast? Small difference, right? And let's be real, being the president of any country is already a full-time gig. You've got meetings, speeches, international calls, and the occasional, hey, let's not implode today pep talk. But Zelensky, he wakes up to real drama. Not the kind we get from Netflix either. This is live, 24/7, with the constant threat of someone trying to take him out. Just imagine that stress. So yeah, while you're getting annoyed by your alarm and contemplating a second snooze, Zelensky's probably dodging sniper fire and figuring out how to keep his country's economy from crashing in real time. And if you think that's a lot, just wait till you hear what else he's juggling. It's the most high-stakes, insane, and somehow totally relatable job ever. Okay, so imagine this. 1 minute, Volodymyr Zelensky is cracking jokes on national TV, and the next, he's trying to crack down on national security. Like, picture if The Rock, yeah, that Dwayne Johnson, just woke up one day and became the president of the United States. Weird, right? But somehow, it works. Zelensky didn't exactly follow the traditional political path. He wasn't some stiff-suited, power-hungry guy trying to climb the political ladder. Nope. He was busy making people laugh as a comedian and starring in a TV show where he played a regular guy who unexpectedly becomes president. You'd think he was the star of a crazy satirical comedy, but no, it was real life. Talk about life imitating art. Now, here's where it gets wild. The guy went from performing slapstick comedy, you know, the kind where people trip over banana peels or slap each other with pies, to dealing with some seriously high-stakes international diplomacy. If you ever wanted to see a comedian try to manage a national crisis while wearing his iconic green t-shirt, this is it. Was Zelensky in way over his head? Oh, absolutely. He went from making people laugh about everyday nonsense to dealing with things like war, military strategy, and world leaders who expect him to speak in bold, serious tones. And yet, somehow, his totally out-of-nowhere transition into this job just adds to the absurdity and the charm. He wasn't trying to be president. He was just trying to make people laugh. And now, he's somehow managing to hold a nation together, all while we're sitting here trying not to burn our popcorn. All right, so imagine this. It's 2023 and the world's on fire, literally. You wake up every day to some new disaster, bombings, airstrikes, political chaos, and you, my friend, are the one who has to manage it all. Oh, and you're not just some regular person, you're the president. Welcome to Volodymyr Zelensky's daily life. Now, let's be real. Most of us freak out over a bad text message, a missed deadline, or maybe a semi-awkward Zoom call with our boss. But Zelensky? He wakes up to the kind of news that makes you question your life choices. Imagine every morning checking your phone and finding out that your country is under attack. Again, not exactly the kind of morning vibes you'd want. But here's the kicker. Zelensky was never trained to be a crisis manager. 1 minute he was cracking jokes, and the next, he's juggling international diplomacy, running military strategies, and, you know, keeping his people alive. He had to go from comedic timing to crisis management at a breakneck speed. If someone had told him in 2019 that by 2023 he'd be leading a country at war, he probably would have laughed it off, thinking it was part of some new comedy show script. The absurdity of it all doesn't end there. Zelensky has to talk to world leaders every day. Leaders who are probably way too comfortable with saying things like, "You're doing great, sweetie." Yes, even in a war situation. Like, can you imagine the awkwardness of being on a Zoom call with President Biden or some European leader trying to discuss military strategy while they throw in some over-the-top compliments just to make him feel better? Sure, it's well-intentioned, but seriously, do they get what it's like for Zelensky right now? It's not exactly the "you go, girl" vibe when you're trying to dodge bombs and save a nation. Then there's the internet. Yes, the internet. Zelensky's face has become a meme factory at this point. He's given speeches that have been turned into motivational quotes and viral videos faster than you can say TikTok. That green t-shirt? A national symbol. Seriously, the guy went from TV star to meme legend overnight. But even with all this global support, the pressure of leading a country at war must be absolutely insane. Sure, he's admired by millions, but behind every meme, there's a man who probably just wants to sleep through one news cycle without hearing the word crisis or escalation. But nope, no rest for the weary. You don't get to hit the pause button when you're the face of a war. Picture this. Volodymyr Zelensky is the star of a political reality show that no one ever asked for. Who's got the best idea for Ukraine? It's a competition where everyone, from world leaders to his own government, wants to tell him how to do his job. Only instead of camera, lights, action, it's war, crisis, chaos. And everyone's trying to get their piece of him, whether it's for military strategy, foreign aid, or just because they've seen one too many of his inspiring speeches and now feel like they have all the answers. Imagine being in a group chat with your most annoying friends. You know, the ones who send you endless messages about everything. Opinions on the best pizza topping, what color your phone case should be, even unsolicited relationship advice. Now imagine those friends have nuclear weapons at their disposal. That's Zelensky's reality. Everyone has something to say, and they all want him to hear it. It's like having the entire world texting you, and their suggestions are less like, "Hey, what's for lunch?" and more like, "Hey, here's how we should deal with global security issues today." And just like any group chat, there are a few major offenders. You've got the over-enthusiastic world leaders calling with important updates that sound suspiciously like, "Hey, we're sending more aid." But really, we just wanted to check in and make sure you're okay. Thanks, but maybe less of the small talk and more of the actual support, right? Then there's his own government, each official having their own unique perspective on how Zelensky should run the show. It's like trying to pick a direction in a room full of people all yelling in different languages. At least in comedy, there's a script. But in politics, it's a free-for-all, and the only thing certain is that everyone's got an opinion on how Zelensky should be leading. If only there was a mute button for the world. At this point, Volodymyr Zelensky isn't just a president, he's a walking meme factory. Seriously, the guy has gone from cracking jokes on stage to being turned into the most inspirational meme on the internet. His iconic green t-shirt? It's practically a national symbol at this point, and not just for Ukraine. It's the outfit of a man who's leading a country through one of the toughest times in modern history, but it also looks like something you'd wear when you're chilling with your buddies on a Sunday afternoon. And let's be honest, you've definitely seen that t-shirt in at least one meme captioned, "Zelensky, but make it fashion." But here's where it gets really wild. Zelensky's speeches have taken on a life of their own. One minute, he's standing up, delivering a powerful message to the world, and the next? His face is plastered across Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter with captions like, "When you're not just a president, but a mood." I'm talking about those meme templates where he's looking all inspirational, and you know there's a group chat out there with world leaders just sharing these photos like, "Yup, he nailed it." Leadership goals. And I bet, just for a second, Zelensky's had to look at his own memed face and think, maybe I should have just stayed in comedy. I mean, how weird must it be to go from telling knock-knock jokes to being the guy whose face is now synonymous with every meme that says, "You're a legend, dude"? It's gotta be surreal, especially when you know that one day, some historian's going to look at his legacy and say, yeah, he really was the meme president. Can't say that was in the job description. Let's talk about the personal side of things for Zelensky. We all know leadership comes with sacrifice, but this guy, he's taken it to a whole new level. Is he getting a cozy date night with his wife anytime soon? Nope. Zelensky's love life is probably more like the ultimate long-distance relationship. Except, instead of missing each other's text messages, he's dodging missiles while trying to keep a nation from falling apart. No biggie, right? Imagine trying to maintain a healthy relationship when your wife's probably dealing with her own stress, and the one person she wants to talk to is halfway across the world trying to figure out how to survive a war. Their date nights must involve a lot of, "Hey, can we talk about the country's future over dinner?" Followed by, "No, honey, let's talk about our future. But also, let's make sure the troops are fed." Romantic, right? Managing your personal life while being the president of a war-torn country is like riding an emotional roller coaster with no brakes. Some days, Zelensky's probably wondering if he'll ever get a moment to just sit down, breathe, and binge-watch Netflix without hearing about the latest crisis. But instead, he's balancing life-or-death decisions and keeping up with the emotional wear and tear of a nation that's relying on him for everything. So yeah, love life? Maybe in the distant future. Right now, it's all about saving a country, one stressful moment at a time. Here's the twist in this whole wild ride. Zelensky can't just quit. He can't pull the "sorry, I'm out" card like we all wish we could when life gets ridiculously hard. Nope. He's the guy holding the metaphorical flaming torch through the darkest time in Ukraine's history. It's like he's standing there in the middle of the apocalypse, saying, "I can't drop this. I'm the only one with the fire extinguisher." No pressure, right? But that's the thing. He's in too deep now. Even if things get absurd or overwhelming, there's no turning back. It's like being trapped in a never-ending season of your least favorite reality show, except you're not just trying to win a trophy, you're trying to save an entire nation. Every morning he wakes up to more chaos, and every night he goes to bed knowing that he's got to wake up and do it all over again. People may tell him, "You're doing great," but the reality is, he's fighting for the future, not just against the problems of today. And the thing about being in his position? There's no time out, no quitting. Not when lives are on the line. So Zelensky, in all this madness, is probably on some next-level grind that we've never seen before. The dude's working harder than most of us do in a year, except instead of dodging Zoom calls and replying to emails, he's dealing with tanks, international pressure, and the hopes of millions of people. Think of it as the ultimate hustle. And honestly, we may never fully understand it, but we can't help but admire how he keeps going, even when everything around him says, "Give up." But that's the real power of Zelensky. Even when it sucks, even when it feels impossible, he keeps pushing forward. Now that's a grind you can't help but respect. So, here's the final thought. Zelensky's life is absolutely insane. He's an international symbol of strength and resilience. But when you strip away the headlines and the memes, he's just a guy juggling problems that make our bad days look like a walk in the park. We complain about our Wi-Fi going out or missing a bus, and he's out there dodging missiles and making life-or-death decisions for a whole country. Insane, right? But here's the thing. It's also kind of relatable. Life sucks sometimes, no doubt about it. But if Zelensky can go from cracking jokes to leading a nation through war, maybe we can all make something great out of the mess we're handed. And who knows? Maybe the thing we all need, whether it's him or us, is a little bit of humor to get through the toughest days. And if you're enjoying these wild tales, don't forget to hit subscribe and like. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next bizarre journey.